So welcome to day two. I hope you found yesterday useful. If nothing else, it was action-packed. And I was certainly very impressed, actually. We thought the numbers might be a little lower yesterday, but that turned out not to be the case. And there was certainly a lot happening, and I think you're all to be congratulated. When I was certainly listening into the sessions and watching things generally, everybody seemed to be very active and engaged. So that was a really good thing. So today, it will look and feel a little similar, where the host cities break off to be briefed by the international federations. And I know occasionally the odd commercial company did pop in if they had a favoured federation there. That was fine, but by and large, I'd still ask people to respect the fact that that is meant to be a more detailed, how high is the diving board type conversation rather than of things of interest to the commercial company. So the main content will be held in here. With the cities and federations work happening up in the foyer just across. But you'll be shown that later on. The good news is, if that's called the good news, talking about one of our favourite subjects, is that there's an hour of networking drinks after the programme today. And a couple of people have asked, obviously you're free to do what you like, but the concept is based that you come out of the content straight into the drinks, and from the drink straight into the dinner. And the only little caveat that we don't want to cause any embarrassment, I will be checking personally about what the drinks arrangements are tonight and during the dinner to make sure that nobody gets caught out and you're properly briefed. We understand, dangerous word, that it is unlimited, but I want to make absolutely sure that unlimited does mean unlimited and you don't end up being given a bill. The only thing to please look out for is that where we were just now, you notice there's a cafe. That cafe is open to the general public. So I'm sure, putting two and two together, you understand when you order champagne and croissants and strawberries and the rest, that you're paying for that from the cafe, okay? We're doing the rest of it. But so you can get a coffee, you can get whatever you want to do there, but we're providing lunch and tea and coffee and the drinks later on. So, but if you are having a break-off meeting, I don't know why you would, because we've got tea and coffee upstairs. Just be aware of that, please. And I'll check the sort of leaving time from the dinner tonight, but at the moment, you know, it's scheduled to be 9 o'clock. But I'll check whether that 9 o'clock is a hard stop, okay? Usual things apply. Please network like hell. But could I make a request? And it's one of my more amusing, cheesy lines, is when you get shouted at, please stop networking. And the clue is, that means to, because obviously to give you that fantastic view and experience, the coffee is back upstairs. So you'll understand you've got to go upstairs to get the coffee and back downstairs afterwards. So you'll see that the coffee break, for example, is shown as a 40-minute break, but in there is that 5 minutes up, 5 minutes down factor. So I would ask you to respect when we say, please now move downstairs, that you know that you do that as well, okay? So network like hell, and remember there is the app, you've got the link for that, download it, that's where the delegates are. Look to click the online button. That shows people that you're ready to receive messages and the like. And once you connect with somebody, they agree to connect with you, you do have their contact details for the longer term. So I hope, by way of introduction, I think I'm just going to check with Andy. Is there anything else that you think I should have covered? Okay. So welcome to day two. We've gained ourselves a few minutes by doing that. I'm absolutely delighted we have the chairman of TechBall with us, Victor Huzar. We're going to sit to front. Victor, you and I come and have a conversation at the front. Just while Victor sits down, there is a hands up. Who knows what TechBall is? There we go. So I didn't think of doing this. What? Oh, go on, keep your hands up a second. What do you think? 70%? 70%. Okay, great. Well, there is a TechBall demonstration upstairs. We're going to talk about it. I was joking with Victor in Deauville a couple of weeks ago. I spent about 2 hours when people weren't around with his team trying to do TechBall. It was really embarrassing. And they then gave me the bat version of it. But the point of the story is, I'm delighted to hear Victor joining us to get us moving at the moment. It is one of the up-and-coming sports. It's a new format, new property, which we're going to talk about now in a moment. But you will get the chance to see it up in that coffee area, on the balcony, between now and including lunchtime. Okay, so go and have a look at it. It's really, really interesting. So, Victor, firstly, thank you very much for coming to see us and having a chat. Let's just talk a bit. Where did this, either talk about yourself first, but tell us, where did this idea come from? What's behind the thinking?
Good morning, everyone. Well, I'm one of the inventors of Tagball. There are three of us, so it came from my mind with my neighbor. We used to be football players. I played indoor football, futsal, and we just wanted to keep playing football without being injured. And, you know, we had to find a form of non-physical football, which didn't really exist, especially not in Hungary, where I come from. And, you know, we had this idea of playing it on a curved table, tennis table. So we just created in the garage the first version of this curved table, and we started to play with it, just amongst us. And we also had the problem, and probably it's a modern-day problem, that we somehow failed to get even a five-a-side team together every Monday. You know, people had wives, pregnant wives, angry wives. So we never managed to get the 12 people. But we always had 4, 6. So that's how Tagball started, in the garage. And then, you know, a lot of people who were football players started to say that you have to do something with this because this is actually fun. So this is how the whole thing started, that others pushed us to do a more international project out of it.
And where was it fun at the beginning, or did you always have the vision that, look, we need to make, you know, you presume you call them now teams and athletes who are tech ball players, is that right? You know, that is their sport. It's no longer the fun part of it and doing it as an aside.
Yes, we call them techers, so the players who play tech ball. It's, you know, it started as a side project for football, but now it becomes a standalone sport, so people only play professional tech ball. And for me, the fun part of tech ball is still when I play. I still play at a fairly high level. And I do think that if I wouldn't be playing tech ball, I wouldn't be able to proceed with the development of the sport. It's not just the rules, it's everything. And of course, you know, I'm a computer scientist. You know, for me, everything was about, you know, the data. And Tagball itself was invented because I used to be a president of a Premier League futsal team. And the coach always told me that we should sign this player. But they never really explained why. They said because my feeling that he's good. And you know, we wanted to have like a platform to measure objectively who is better. And it's a very competitive game. In Tagball, the better player wins. We reduced the luck in this sport. The rules, the platform, everything was created to be a very fair sport where eventually the better player wins.
And the skill set, you know, just to get feel for it, is it mostly the football players that do it well? Because there's a sort of an element, it's not just the look, but there's some of the strategies involved, things like table tennis. It felt to me that it didn't feel necessarily like a football experience. There's a lot of tactics involved with it.
But the learning curve for football players is very short. 15, 20 minutes. So in your case, I guess you were not a football player. But for me, it's a cognitive game. So you need the skills, you need the touch, but you make decisions much faster. Just to give you a data, a regular football player touches the ball 300 times a day, a professional player. And then in tech ball, you touch the ball 300 times, maybe in 15, 30 minutes. Wow. And Puskás, probably the most famous Hungarian player, you know, we analyzed why he was so good. And he touched the ball 1,800 times a day. So compared to a player today, there is the big difference. Yep. And if you check, I give you a good number, Wayne Rooney, when he was at the peak, he touched the ball in the Premier League during half year 96 times. So the first touch of the player becomes vital. And tech ball can help you with that, but eventually it's your cognitive skill, how to make the decision, when to make the decision, and how to do the teamwork with your teammate.
Yeah, now you've described why I struggle with it. I mean, the bizarre thing, if you haven't done it, is that, to me, the curved table where you can't see where the curve comes to an end when you're on the side, it would just freak me out, but there you go. So we've got a bit of a flavour of that. Now, in this room, we've got three broad communities: cities, international federations, and expert suppliers. I think the expert suppliers will be able to feed off my question very quickly. So from a host city perspective, I know you're speaking to them later, so at a very high level, what sort of are you looking for experientially from a host city?
Let me start with that we invented tech ball for us, for ourselves. So it's like building a house for yourself. And as a former football player, I knew that we were not that smart. And it's a very simple sport and a very cheap one. Should you have the table, then you can place it anywhere. And it's a weatherproof concept, from -40 to +65. This table can resist everything because football players are not going to take it inside from the garden. That was the idea. So as a host city, I think now, of course, that's my assumption, you are looking for an operational platform where you can organically attract as many young people as you can, or as many people who want to try sports. And tech ball is proving that concept. It's the second most followed non-Olympic sport after cricket. And we try to beat cricket, but it shows already that our audience is loving it. It's just a completely pioneering new way of playing the most popular sport of the world, which is football.
Well, great. I mean, obviously, you'll get the chance to elaborate on that later. So we only had a brief time to have a chat here. I hope it got everybody's minds warmed up to there's a new format out there that we all need to be aware of. And we look forward to hearing what you're going to say during the host cities period later on as well. So for the moment, can I just say thank you very much indeed, Victor, for explaining what this marvellous sport's all about. So should we give Victor a big clap?
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.